Right, what's happening, people, and welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. Now, I know that you lot want to hear me talking Chelsea every time I upload, and don't worry, I will be dropping multiple bits of Chelsea-based content every single week, but we will also be talking all things Premier League over the course of this season, and today we're talking Manchester United. Erik Ten Hag led Man United to a top 4 finish and Silverware last season. However, the Premier League has levelled up this season, and I am sure that Newcastle United will not be Man United's sole competition for those top 4 spots this season. Here to help me discuss all things Man United and exactly how he thinks they will do this season is lifelong Manchester United fan Sani. The link to Sani's channels will be in the description, and also we're lucky to be joined by Arsenal fan Dan. So, boys, Man United, they have done significant work in the transfer window. Yeah. Obviously, they've brought in Onana at the back. That's a big plus for them. They brought in Mason Mount. They've brought in Højlund.
Yep.
Most importantly, they've obviously brought back Johnny Evans. It's going to be a massive... Is Johnny Evans actually there for the season?
Yeah, he's there for the season. He's doing his coaching badges as well, so he's doing all sorts at Manchester United.
Last time you had Johnny Evans in the team, I'm pretty sure you won a title, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, and it's funny because going into the season, we had no Premier League winner since 1992, 1993, and then Johnny Evans comes in, we finally got a Premier League winner, so the streak continues.
It swings and roundabouts, though. You have lost Phil Jones.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's going to be a big miss. No, seriously, Sonny, Man United's transfer window, how do you rate it going into this season?
See, the thing is, going into the season, we had key issues that we needed to address. That was the spine. Goalkeeper, I mean, I've come on here plenty of times talking about the goalkeeper. David De Gea, for example, just wasn't really up to the scratch, to be honest. We brought in Onana, who's very good with his feet. He had his time at Ajax with Erik Ten Hag. He did very well with Inter Milan, made the Champions League final. That was a key aspect of the team that we need to address. Then Mason Mount came in. Now, obviously, I've not seen you since Mason Mount transferred to Manchester United, Joey. When I saw that transfer, the only reason I was smiling was not because Erik Ten Hag wanted this guy, it's because Joey missed Mason Mount. And of course, Højlund got a striker, the first striker Manchester United have signed under the age of 25 since a certain Wayne Rooney. So finally, we've got a striker who's young, a lot of potential, someone that Erik Ten Hag can mould. He fits the profile of striker that Erik Ten Hag's looking for as well. But if you had to ask me a rating out of 10, I'll probably say a 6 or 7, because there's still some glaring issues that we need to address that hopefully we might do in the next coming weeks. But right now, going into the season, I'd say 6 out of 10.
So straight away, we'll touch on Onana there. Do you think that Onana helps generate you more Premier League points this season than David De Gea did last year?
1,000,000%. There's a few reasons why I think this as well. Obviously, people talk about David De Gea's shot-stopping abilities, for example. And if you look at his goals prevented, it's actually negative. It hasn't been positive for the last 3 seasons. So when people say, oh, his shot-stopping and his shot preventing is really good, the stats prove otherwise. Yes, he had some good performances last season, but that doesn't mean that he was shot-stopping like he was in the, let's say, 2017-18 season, for example, where he had that unbelievable game against Dan's Arsenal, which I'm sure he'll remember when Alexis Sanchez probably should have scored that goal. But anyway, David De Gea was exceptional then, not anymore. So he's going to be key for that. Passing out from the back. Everyone loves passing out from the back. Onana's passing ability and distribution is amazing, especially long ball as well, which I think is going to be key for Manchester United going into the season. So all things considered, be that the distribution and the shot-stopping ability, he will pick us up points, which is key going into this season.
To play devil's advocate there, right? We can look at it and we can simplify it and we can go, okay, does that ability to pass out from the back and quickly start counter-attacks result in you gaining more points, more so than the ability to keep clean sheets and to be solid between the sticks? Now, if you look last season at Onana, he kept, I think, 8 Serie A clean sheets, which ranked 10th in the league, yeah? And obviously, Inter Milan finished 3rd that season. The same spot as Man United finished in the Premier League this season, just gone. However, David De Gea kept, 17 clean sheets this season, just gone?
18,
ranked 18,
yeah.
ranked 1st in the Premier League. Yeah. So I think there is weight to say there that, yeah, okay, look, we can't deny, yeah, it is a younger player coming in, a player that has a higher ceiling potentially and has more facets to his game in the here and now. But I don't think it's hands-on guaranteed that this season Onana saves you more points or acquires you more points than David De Gea did last season. I wouldn't say that's a foregone conclusion.
I think we kind of touched on it. We spoke about Czech a little while ago. I think it all depends on the defence that you got in front of him.
Exactly, I agree.
To still keep 18 clean sheets in the league is pretty spectacular, to be honest. And that's obviously saved you a lot of points. You're quite high up in the table. But, you know, if a decent goalkeeper is just constantly being peppered with shots and he's going to concede, Do you know what I mean? I mean, we've got Aaron Ramsdale at the moment, and I mean, he got relegated twice. Do you know what I mean? But that doesn't make him a bad keeper. But as I say, I think that if the defense is better, then the keeper has less to do.
Exactly. Like Dan raises a really good point there about Ramsdale. Although he did get relegated twice, doesn't mean he's a bad keeper. I'm not saying De Gea's an awful keeper, but for Manchester United and the way Ten Hag wants to play, I don't think he was adept for what Ten Hag wanted. And just to go back on your point as well, Joey, about the clean sheets. Although, yes, he did get 18 clean sheets, and yes, what Dan says about how that proves he's a good goalkeeper is fine. But then it comes a question, and a lot of Man United fans need to answer this. Was De Gea a really good keeper that we got 18 clean sheets, or was it the defence that helped us get that? Another thing as well, we had the third deepest defensive line in the league. That's definitely going to help. If you're making a low block for teams that won't really have that many chances against you, you're more likely to have more clean sheets, especially if you've got quality like Lisandro Martinez was a revelation last season. Everyone wrote him off last year. Oh, he's too small, he can't defend, etc. He was one of the best centre-backs that we saw in the league. I know Dan's going to talk about Saliba at some stage, maybe even Gabriel as well. But the thing is, Martinez was great. Then obviously Varane's there. There are other issues we need to sort out in defence. But then Casemiro was there as well. I know there's going to be a debate about Casemiro, Partey, maybe at some stage Rodri. But the thing is, they were key aspects for the club that helped De Gea, and that defence was a big part.
I mean, one other thing I would just quickly touch on before moving on from Onana. From pre-season, if we read into that, which obviously being a Chelsea fan, I 100% do, if we take any indication from that, Onana may well not enjoy having Harry Maguire sat in front of him. Did you see the clip of him screaming his head off at Maguire? What do you think for Harry Maguire? Is that curtains and Onana coming in as number one? We saw the little altercation. I wouldn't even call it an altercation because that suggests two have to tango there, and it pretty much looked like Maguire feeling a bit sorry for himself and Onana giving him a right old bollocking. Harry Maguire, his time at Man United now done?
I mean, I think so. I think we had this discussion before. I just think he's somebody that's just kind of fallen out of love with the game. He's somewhere where he's obviously not really that appreciated. I think it's probably the right time for him to go somewhere else and rediscover his love for football. Because I think if he just keeps trying at Man United, it's only going to get worse for him. And it's going to probably end up like the Phil Jones situation where he's just going to sit on the bench and he'll just become the forgotten man. So, if he really wants to sort of re-spark his career, he needs to get a move.
With the emergence, which I do see coming to fruition even more over the course of this season, Levi Colwill, obviously, then we're looking at Harry Maguire's spot at left-sided centre-back in that England team, and that is in serious jeopardy because no matter what Southgate wants to do, no matter how much he has always backed Harry Maguire when we've said, he shouldn't be in the team, whatever, when you're looking at that, realistically, the contenders over years gone by to take Harry Maguire's spot have sort of been Tomori, playing out in Serie A, not the highest level of football compared to what we used to in the Premier League. You've also looked at Mark Gahey, brilliant, but Crystal Palace compared to playing at Man United, top level week in, week out. And then obviously there have been other names in there. Eric Dyer had a brief resurgence and whatnot. We all know he doesn't like Ben White also. No,
that's
Southgate and Ben White definitely don't see eye to eye. But yeah, now you're looking at Levi Colwill this season, and if all indications from what we saw last season is that's going to be a top quality player.
Agreed.
And now looking at it and thinking Germany, Euros end of this season, I think Levi Colwill is going to be right up there. So for Harry Maguire, if he has a season on the bench and Levi Colwill is a mainstay in that Chelsea side, I just don't think that he's going to make it into that England team. So I definitely say that he does need a switch.
Definitely.
One position there. You've brought in Højlund. He is unproven to say the least in the Premier League, although he's looked, like there's been glimpses of brilliance there. But it is a position that, in an ideal world, I think any Man United fan would have wanted you to go out and sign a Harry Kane.
1,000,000%.
Now, you do have a name on the books who is a semi-proven Premier League goal scorer that could provide you with depth in that position. That's Mason Greenwood. Any chance that Mason Greenwood can come back into that Man United team for you?
If it was me personally, no chance. As far as I'm concerned, you can come out with the, everyone deserves a second chance kind of thing. But for me, that's pretty serious stuff. Goal scorer he may be, but let's just take the football side out of it. He doesn't, and not at that stage. Do you know what I mean? I think for me, it's a no-go.
We spoke about it. It blew up, yeah. To be fair, the most liked comment was one in support of not having him come back into the fold, yeah? But you did get a lot of people commenting going, oh, what, so you've never made mistakes? And I'm like, I've made plenty. I've never beat my bird up, though. But, allegedly. But I do think like you look at that Mason Greenwood situation, and it is an elephant in the room that needs addressing, because I don't think the way we're going even as a nation, you know, we're pushing women's football. We've seen is it Women's Euros, Women's World Cup,
World Cup in Australia.
World Cup been like, you know, really good. We had the Lionesses. What was that last summer? Yeah. I just think, you know, Man United women's team. How are we gonna have him back? I had one bloke in my comments saying it's amazing what AI can do these days. Oh, God. And it's just like, oh, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? So, Sonny, as a Man United fan, you came under a little bit of fire, to be fair, because you said, and I completely can emphasise what you were saying about, look, no matter who it is, fucking Adolf Hitler comes on and scores a 90th minute winner against Man City in the derby, Man United fans are going to cheer. And you said, you know, you'd think it'd be disingenuous to say that you wouldn't cheer.
I agree, yeah.
Is that still your stance?
I still stand by that. I'm not saying that I want Mason Greenwood to play. What Dan says, I don't need to reiterate. What he done, everything. Realistically, I wouldn't want him to play at Manchester United. But even in the video back then, Joey, what did I say? I'm not an employee at Manchester United. I don't work behind the scenes. Manchester United are looking at a player like Greenwood and thinking, could we do with him? Probably yes, because we're not signing Harry Kane. I will be very, very shocked if we manage to put a deadline day transfer move for Harry Kane. So I think Greenwood's going to come back, and I still stand by it. If he scores a goal and I celebrate it, I'm not celebrating Mason Greenwood. I'm celebrating the fact that my team, Manchester United, has scored a goal. And let's say it's a winner in the derby, or against Dan's Arsenal, or against your Chelsea. I'm still going to celebrate, not because it's Mason Greenwood, because he plays for Manchester United, and people need to realise there's a disconnect there. Just because I'm celebrating Manchester United doesn't mean I'm happier for Mason Greenwood, because at the end of the day, what he done was diabolical. But the way it's looking, the way it's moving, all the murmurs in the media, seems like he's back.
So that's your gut instinct, is that he does come back?
I think he comes back.
I personally would say that he doesn't come back. He don't come back into the fold. I think he goes to like Turkey or somewhere.
Maybe Saudi.
Possibly. With the regiment he has for his women, I think that lifestyle might suit him a little bit. We cut that. The bookies make Man United the 4th favourites to lift the Premier League trophy this season. Yeah, they're only ever so slightly closer odds than Chelsea are to lift the Premier League this season. Where would you put them? Because obviously, goes without saying that the bookies are putting City as favourites. Yeah. They're putting Liverpool as second favourites, believe it or not, and Arsenal as third, with Man United coming in at 4th. Would you stick with that? Would you have Man United as the 4th favourites, or would you back them closer in?
I think 3rd or 4th is a good shout, to be honest. I mean, let's be honest, like you said, City's first, Dan's Mob second, and it's either us or Liverpool, 3rd or 4th, to be honest. 4th favourites, I'm not expecting a title challenge this year. I know other Man United fans might be. They might be looking at the spend that we've had, etc. But can you realistically look at that squad? And I'm going to ask Dan this question as well. Can you realistically look at that squad that Man United have and think that squad is able to challenge for the Premier League, and also consider the other tournaments that we're going to be playing in that season?
No, I think I probably agree with you. I don't see a Man United title charge. I mean, maybe another decent cup run. Yeah, you know, a little European adventure for them. But yeah, a league title push, not sure. However, I'd be welcome of it, because I think I'd like the league to be a little bit more competitive.
You've made a few signings, you've done good business, players coming back and whatnot. What is the ideal Man United 11 to compete this season?
Good question. I mean, keeper goes without saying, Tom Heaton. No, I'm just joking. It's Andre Onana. Imagine that we signed Andre Onana and Tom Heaton's our keeper. No disrespect. Things have happened. No disrespect to Tom Heaton. So Andre Onana playing at the back, playing a 4-3-3 classic Ten Hag style of play. Right back, I'm going Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, some Man United fans are going to be like, why Dallo? He's more attacking. But I want some defensive solidity at the back. And I think if you want that clean sheet to kind of continue going into this season, that defence needs to stay the same. And I think Wan-Bissaka actually had a pretty good season, especially the end of the season as well. Centre-backs, I'm going, it goes without saying, Lisandro Martinez, Rafa Varane. I do like Harry Maguire. I know we touched on it earlier, but he gets a lot of stick, Harry Maguire. He's very good with his feet. It's really harsh seeing that. I don't know if you guys saw that video in America where he was walking towards a changing room and a kid threw a placard and it said something like, Harry Maguire, leave Manchester United.
I like Maguire.
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't have him at Chelsea, but I like him.
The thing is, at a club, he'd actually do a job. Like, people are quoting our 20 mil for Harry Maguire. He's worth more than that. But anyway, so Lisandro Martinez one side, Varane the other. Left back Luke Shaw, who I thought had a very good season last year. I know people are very onto Luke Shaw about his weight and stuff. I mean, I can't really talk, but the thing is, he had a very good season last year. And I think if he continues that going into the season, he's going to be very key for us. 3 in the midfield, goes without saying. Casemiro's holding defensive midfielder. He had a great season last year. It's a shame about his disciplinary record. Hopefully he can improve on that. but he did a great job for us last season. But I think this is my hot take as well. I think towards the middle of the season, I think we might see a shift and Amrabat might play a few more games because he looks like a player that we're going to sign. He is very good, and I think he's more of the player that Ten Hag wants to sign because let's not forget, when we signed Casemiro, the player we wanted was Frankie de Jong for a reason. He fit that profile that Ten Hag was looking for. I think Amrabat is more of that profile that Ten Hag is looking for. But nevertheless, I digress. Mount one side, Bruno the other, 2 8s that can carry the ball well. Hopefully they supply our front three of Rashford on the left, Sancho on the right, and Hojlund down the middle.
And in a one-word answer, Sonny, where do Man United finish in the Premier League this season?
4th.
4th. Sonny's saying a top 4 finish, but we want to know your lot's thoughts. Whereabouts do Man United finish in the Premier League this season? Do you agree that that's the strongest 11? I know there will be 1 or 2 contentious picks in there that other people might not agree with. And ultimately, we just want your general thoughts on Man United for this coming season. The link to Sonny's page will be in the description to this video. So please give Sonny a subscribe. I will be in the comments as soon as this video drops. I'll be trying to respond to all of you. So let me know your thoughts and I will see you all in the next one.